rear off the ground on the curb, on the paint, you know. That's some commitment.
You got a sense that Mark did say that the first half of the season was all about rebuilding, building his confidence, building his feeling, building his knowledge and experience of the Ducati. You feel that process now, Simon, is finished. And I was intrigued to see what he said post-Austria, where it was like, he said Austria was not the result he wanted. Of course, there was the problem with the whole shot device before that was lights out. That dropped into fourth at the checker flag. Didn't finish the sprint, but Mark said, it was probably the best thing I've had on the bike. The speed is there. We just saw there Gemma Pinto, Mark's better half, watching on from trackside. Well, the Marquez...
Gemma was on the right. I don't know who was on the left.
That was Alex's girlfriend. I don't know her name. So we've got the Marquez brothers out on circuit together.
And on screen.
With the partners, down cheering the boys on in the garage as well. Not a bad tactic this by Mark, to drag brother Alex round to a hot lap.
So, you were just saying about Mark and Austria. I want to say this before, because I want you to know how serious, impressed I was in Austria. I don't agree with everything Mark does, but at Austria, he was exceptional on Sunday. Absolutely awesome. Like, wow. Meaning he rode as well as anyone out there, I believe, and arguably better the last part, although Pecco wasn't pushed, so we'll never know what Pecco could do. But Mark's lap times, how he managed that rear tyre, what he did, he was very impressive, brilliant.
Yeah. Saw some quotes from Ducati boss Davide Tardozzi, who said Mark's pace in the second half of that race was as good as anybody. He's not saying that he was going to beat Pecco, as you say, Simon, and Tardozzi said, I'm absolutely convinced that Mark's got not just one win, maybe a couple of wins in his pocket throughout the remainder of the season.
And this one's his best chance so far, you know?
Yeah, you feel like if he can get a clean weekend, because when we arrived in Kota, when we arrived in Sachsenring, I think everybody thought, oh, Mark on a Ducati, he's going to take some beating. Of course, he did lead in Kota before he crashed out, but this so far has been probably one of his most trouble-free Fridays of the season.
How they're brilliant, you know? Third and fourth now, after, you know, struggling this morning, especially Aleix. And Aleix is on the proper lap.
Soft tyres.
Wow.
The one-lap pace is not an issue for Aprilia, and the sprint pace is not the issue for Aprilia either, is it, Simon? It's the second half.
Sorry, Raul Fernandez as well. So the Aprilia's looking really good here.
Yeah, he goes up in a third now, 146.840. Di Antonio slots himself briefly into fourth place. Aleix Espargaro, out of absolutely nowhere, finds what is almost the all-time lap record. A 146.073. What a lap that was by Aleix Espargaro. He's gone from last to first in the space of, what, 3 or 4 hours. There's plenty of life in the old dog yet, isn't there? The 35-year-old winding back the clock here.
He doesn't give up, does he? I admire him for that, that's for sure. Mark, though, looking, you know, under, and his best sector, as we've been talking about, is his last one, so I'll be very surprised if he doesn't go top.
Unless he mucks this one up, this is going to be the first ever 145 lap of MotorLand Aragon. Marc Marquez then comes through the final corner now. Is this a history-making lap for the 8 times world champion? Over the line he goes. It is a 145.801 from the 31-year-old Spaniard, Marc Marquez. Look what that means down in Grazzini Racing. It is the fastest ever motorcycle lap of MotorLand Aragon. You have just witnessed history there, folks. The first ever 145 lap. What can Maverick Vinales do to respond? It could get even better. Over the line he goes. Low 146. Wow, that is some time, isn't it, by Marc Marquez? Pecco Bagnaia at the moment is in 6th place. We're into the final minute of this practice session. Martin 4th, Vinales is 3rd. The 2 factory Aprilias 2nd and 3rd. Johan Zarco up there with Marquez for ride of the day. 8th place on the LCR Honda. A 146.732. Awesome job by Zarco. The 2 Track-Ash Racing Aprilias currently inside the top 10. Out of nowhere, the factory KTMs of Binder, Miller, Acosta also, they're all at the moment out of Q2 directly. Binder's 11th.
Just what I was going to point out. Binder, Acosta, and Naya as well. Jack Miller
Miller's gone down, and it's the last sector. You can see the dust, and that lap then now for Enea Bastianini is gone.
Lost it, yeah.
He's going to get over the line, I think. Clock ticks down to 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Yet the beast is going to get this lap then. So thankfully for Enea Bastianini, by 3 seconds, by the skin of his teeth, he gets this next lap in. So Miller goes down. The yellow flags cost Bastianini a place in that top 10. He's got all the hard work to do all over again now. I think Bagnaia is safe. He's in 6th place with a 146.591, but nearly 0.8 of a second behind Marc Marquez. Some superiority by Marquez. He's nearly 0.3 clear of everybody else on day one here in Aragon. So let's have a quick look at the timing screens. Binder 11th, Acosta 12th. Miller was trying to improve on 16th when he bailed out at turn 16. So at the moment, all Piero Mobility Group bikes out of the top 10. Over the line, Bagnaia goes. 6th place will be his best on this Friday. Marc Marquez has taken the checkered flag, and he's taken a historic lap here as well. And Enea Bastianini has rolled out of it. As you can see, the beast has rolled out of it. So he will be the biggest name, the only one of the top 4 in the championship, then going into Q1 tomorrow morning, and he is frustrated. And Gresini Racing welcome back Marc Marquez, and they welcome back the fastest ever rider around the MotorLand Aragon circuit.